on oil. Now these are UK already has sorted and probably got an exemption for procuring oil
No.
from the US.
This is about the Rosneft deal, sanctions, I think, and we've sorted out the issues with Germany. We managed to do that very quickly, and I think the Americans will do something very similar.
So then why single out India?
Well, it's a specific subsidiary in relation to Rosneft.
We also have a subsidiary in India of the Rosneft.
At least one minister is in a good position, Chris, because you did a trade deal with the United States.
Oh, and India.
And India too.
Yes.
But I want to start
I was going to do India first.
I wanted to come to him last because even though we've been paying a lot of attention over the last 9 months to what the United States is doing, but India was already doing this before it was mainstream. You were doing this kind of unique trade deals.
Well, we recognized many years ago that we have to integrate with global markets. If we have to become a developed nation, living in isolation isn't going to do us any good. And COVID was another opportunity where everybody could reflect on how we can expand relations with trusted partners. And I remember earlier on we used to do trade deals with countries which were really competitors to India. 21, we sat down and looked at our trading arrangements, and we realized that it'll be good to integrate with developed countries, with advanced economies. That would help us in our own development priorities or imperatives, help us get technology, help us get investments, open our markets as well as open other markets to Indian products, also improve our efficiency, our operations. And therefore, around 21, we got into negotiations with 5 or 6 important countries around the world, with the UAE, Australia, the UK, EU. And this was a process which really had started 20 years ago, but around 2005-06, but could never reach end conclusion. 21, we started with a new open mind, with a new way of thinking. We quickly wrapped up deals with the UAE, with Australia, with the 4-nation EFTA bloc, Switzerland, Norway, Liechtenstein, and Iceland, with UK in July this year. We're in active dialogue with the EU. If we get a fair deal, if we get an equitable and a balanced deal, maybe that will happen.
He's negotiating now.
And we are talking to the United States, of course, but we don't do deals in a hurry. And we don't do deals with deadlines or with a gun on our head.
But that's how deals are done these days. It's a deadline.
I don't think so.
Tariffs come in midnight on this date. Take it or leave it.
India looks long term. India never takes decisions in a rush or on the pressure of the moment. And we've accepted if there's a tariff on us, there is a tariff on us. We're looking how to overcome that. We're looking at newer markets. We're looking at a stronger demand impetus within the Indian economy. So we have a very resilient structure, 1.4 billion people, young. Our average age is 28.5 years, very aspirational. 1 billion internet users connected to what's happening at the Berlin Global Dialogue, aspiring for a better quality of life for their families. So they are not in a situation where they want to do suboptimal deals. We'd like to really look at the long term. We recognize that 20, 25 years from now, we'll be a $30 trillion economy. And accordingly, we will negotiate based on the future. A trade deal is on the long run.
Right.
And we have to recognize the future and get the best deal for the country.
How do you get that fair trade deal that is long-term looking in an era where you have a gun to your head, you have a deadline, you have to do it quickly because there will be major impacts. And there are also geopolitical concerns. If you don't stop buying this from this other country, then no, you won't do a deal with us.
Well, I don't think India has ever decided who its friends will be based on any other considerations other than national interest. And I think if
so plainly you want to be told that you can't be friends with Russia.
Somebody tells me tomorrow I can't be friends with the European Union, I won't accept that. Or somebody tells me tomorrow I can't work with Kenya, it's not acceptable to me. So I think we are all in it together. The decision whether to buy a particular product from a country is something that the entire world will have to take a call on. So I was reading in today's paper, Germany is asking for exemption from US sanctions on oil. Now these are UK already has sorted and probably got an exemption for procuring oil from the US.
This is about the Rosneft deal, sanctions, I think, and we've sorted out the issues with Germany. We managed to do that very quickly, and I think the Americans will do something very similar.
So then why single out India?
Well, it's a specific subsidiary in relation to Rosneft.
We also have a subsidiary in India of the Rosneft.
Well, of course, I agree that we cannot be independent on anything because it doesn't exist. It's a nonsense. This will not happen. But so I think we have to strike a new balance between, new open market that has to stay and some, security, autonomy that has to be there, but without closing completely the market because this will be very strongly detrimental to companies, but at the end also to people.
Yes.
There's some disconnect here. Having anti-dumping duties is absolutely wise, and once you demonstrate that there are subsidies, one must take punitive action. But what I cannot understand is a safeguard duty, where you tend to put a duty on everybody, irrespective of whether they subsidize the production or not. And that's what the EU has done. And I think that's where this is kind of a double standard. That on the one hand, you're talking of multilateralism, you're talking of free markets, you want to look at Michael Porter's theory of comparative advantages, let the best man win. And at the end of the day, you say, oh, but we have capacity in steel, we've got to protect our steel industry. So we won't take steel even from those who do not indulge in any unfair trade practices. And then Mahatma Gandhi had very rightly said, an eye for an eye will make the whole world blind. So you stop steel from another country, the other country stops automobiles from your country, and then the process will keep going back and forth. And I don't think that's going to be a great help to globalization.
And sorry, and I would just add in, if there's one thing we have learned from Ukraine, it is that you cannot dominate, you cannot have dominion over the land if you haven't got dominion in space as well.
Of course.
So we have to get this right.
It's for military.
What I was only saying is what René said raises a very good point. We shouldn't be looking at trade or trade deals in a very short-term context. It's not about what's going to happen in the next 6 months or whether you can sell steel to America or whether you can sell automobiles to India for the next 2 or 3 years. Trade deals are for a longer duration. Trade deals are not only about tariffs, it's not only about access of goods or services, it's also about trust, it's also about relationships. Yeah. It's a demonstration to businesses that you can work with between both countries and trust businesses to prosper, businesses to be protected, businesses to get opportunities and a fair deal in a rule of law, not necessarily WTO, but also with the rule of law in democracies that we all work in. So I think trade deals in a longer context have far more than just tariffs. And we are just too focused on current day issues and tariffs.
Big time.
Yes.
It's how to regulate or how to ensure that technologies we're inventing can still be managed for the greater good of mankind. We support India in its strategy, and Make in India strategy. We try to partner very closely with local supply chain and not only suppliers but co-developers of components and so forth. We even built some planes like the C-295 in India. We have a final assembly line. We do the same in China. We have several locations. We produce in the US, so we have to do that. Otherwise, this new world order is against us. And if we can't embrace that, I think our business won't be global anymore. But we're doing this.
You're actually very bullish on India, generally.
I'm very bullish on India.
Do you think it will surpass China?
That's for him to answer. I think the ambition, which I sensed,
I'll tell you
the ambition on the entrepreneurial level was beyond what I heard everywhere in the world before on the entrepreneurial level lately, because they're coming from a position which is there's lots to catch up still. Right? If you think about GDP per capita, etc. But everyone I spoke to had a massive ambition. But not only that, excellent education and super good engineering.
I think the important issue is also age. We have a demographic dividend. Our average age is only 28 and a half
years, yeah.
Which you won't find in many other parts of the world, except, of course, Africa. Now, that young person now connected with the internet, and we have 1 billion internet users there, is very aspirational. That aspiration is driving him to work harder, is driving him to adopt new technologies, new languages, new countries. I think one must also recognize India's economy, while it may seem it's only a $4 trillion economy, on a purchasing power parity is already at 15 trillion. So the speed with which we'll be able to catch up, the speed with which we'll be able to grow, is there for us to capture. Rising wages, better living conditions, better quality of life. These aspirations are driving people's ambitions, people's effort. And I suspect going forward, just as in the last 4 years we were the fastest growing large economy, I see that continuing for at least 20, 25 years in the future. And it's not a question of whether you surpass one or the other. It's a question of whether you give a good quality of life to your people, good education, good housing, take care of their needs, and continue to maintain your traditions. So any country which forgoes its culture, its heritage, can never succeed. And that's something we are very proud of. For us, it's development as much as it is our history, our culture, and our traditional value system.
Also, as business, our voice is already strong, but maybe we should be even stronger.
It's not only business,
the most important
hurting
thing.
Global trade also. So because of all these regulations, I suspect Europe is going to have an existential problem for their businesses. Their infrastructure is going to get costlier. Their automobiles and planes are going to get costlier. Their cost of living will be difficult to manage. And they'll be living in a cocoon, while other trading partners will be trading around the world with each other. And Europe will be left holding the can that we've got 73 regulations, which I have last counted, between European Union and the States. 73 regulations. It's nearly impossible to ever fulfill all the paperwork and the requirements and the additional tax burden. And in a way, they're seeking to hyphenate too many issues. Trade is about trade. Why are we hyphenating too many issues along with trade? We are actually messing up the free trade.
So, Minister Goyal, as an outsider looking in, you think European Union needs Elon Musk and Doge to break down the regulations?
I think Emma will do a good job.
Or come to some kind of agreement, whatever that may be, because that will be a very significant. Then we need to think what we're going to do about India. But sorry, that sounded terribly patronising, which I know is a British tendency, and I absorb
it's
myself.
got a lot of historical.
I know. Can I tell you a story? I was once in the theatre, and there was a couple sitting in front of me who were having a terrible row, and just as the play was about to start, the woman turned to the man and said, "The worst of it is you're so bloody patronising." And he kissed her on the forehead and said, "It's patronising, not patronising." Sorry.
Okay.
The only difference is the British keep talking. And assuming that they are in a particular sweet
Minister
spot,
Goyal.
we act.
Okay.
And our actions speak for themselves.